So there you are, applying for a job in law enforcement, and you see this insanely long list, an extensive application, a background packet, oral board interviews, background investigation, physical fitness tests, polygraph and psychological evaluations, medical reviews, and even a Chiefs interview. And guess what? You haven't even hit the academy yet. I've helped thousands of cops not only improve their interview and interrogation skills, but also crush those big police interviews. I've been blown away by all of the amazing success stories I've heard from folks acing their interviews and getting their foot in the door. But guess what? There's way more to wearing that badge than just nailing the interview. That's where I come in. I'm here to guide you through every step of the way. Now stay with me to the end because I'm going to give you a bonus tip that can help you sail through your career after you get hired. One of the first things you'll do in your law enforcement application journey is fill out the application. Seems pretty basic. Now, depending on the agency, it could be pretty basic, or it might include a background questionnaire. We'll dive into that background packet a little bit later on, but for now, let's focus on some key points. First, follow the instructions to the letter. Law enforcement is all about following directions and attention to detail. If you can't handle this during the application process, the job might not be for you. Next, be thorough and honest in your application. If you've been fired from a job, disclose it. Trust me, they might find out, and if they do, your career is over. Some applications are really extensive. They might ask you for every job you've held since you were 18 or even your entire life. Here's my tip. Make a copy of your application and the background packet, which we'll discuss later. If you're applying for multiple agencies, you can use this copy as a reference guide. Honesty is crucial. The agency reviewing your application will likely reach out to other agencies you're applying to. And if your information doesn't match up, they'll think you're being dishonest. Well, they'll know you're being dishonest, and that's no bueno. So you've tackled that application, and now it's time for the written test, a crucial step on your journey into becoming a police officer. Depending on the agency, the written test might be a cognitive skills multiple choice exam that's your ticket to the police academy or just to get hired. It's designed to measure your abilities in areas like reading comprehension and math, your memory and reasoning. Some agencies will throw in a curveball. They'll make you watch a video and write a narrative report about what you observed. Now, your writing sample will be graded on spelling, sentence structure, and grammar. Your job, write a clear, concise report about what happened. This shows that you can communicate effectively. Law enforcement is all about details, and your narrative report needs to be spot on. Here's a pro tip. Practice makes perfect. Brush up on your grammar and your sentence structure. Take practice tests and get familiar with the types of questions you'll face. And this is very important. Go to the agency's website and find out what kind of test they're going to administer. They will all tell you what it's going to be. And when it comes to the video report, remember to stay calm, take notes, and organize your thoughts before you start writing. Now I want to talk about one of the most challenging parts of becoming a police officer, the physical abilities test. Depending on where you are, some of the exercises and requirements will vary. Again, read the agency's website. Regardless of what they require, it's pass or fail, and you've got to ace it to prove that you're ready for the academy. Now, the physical abilities test is a mixture of exercises designed to assess your physical fitness. Most cities will include running, sit-ups, and push-ups, but some tests mirror real-life physical demands of being a cop. Let me break it down. Many departments require a running test of some sort, commonly a 1.5 miles. Now, the time you need to beat varies by agency, so again, find out what the requirements are and set a goal and start preparing now. If you're out of running shape, start training by walking a mile and then working up to that jogging and running. Push-ups are a staple. Some departments test how many you can do in a minute. Others will see how many you can do to failure. Others will set an amount of push-ups that they want you to do, and you're going to have to reach that limit. Practice standard push-ups if you're weak at it, and if you are truly weak, add resistance bands to boost up your strength. Sit-ups are another common test, usually timed for 1 minute, or again, they'll give you the amount of sit-ups that they want you to do. If you're struggling to do them now, start them now. Many agencies administer an agility test. Now, agility tests may involve sprinting straight or weaving through cones, simulating a foot chase. Check your agency's website to kind of see what they're doing, and now set up a similar course at home with the agility cones for practice. So as an example, my agency requires the following 10-step course. Initially, they'll have you sit in a patrol car. They'll have you manipulate your seatbelt, and then you'll exit your vehicle. Doesn't seem hard, but then you'll have to run towards a 4-foot fence, and you'll have to jump that fence. Then you'll have to jump a 6-foot fence. Then they'll want you to climb some stairs. You might have to climb or jump through a window. Then they'll want you to pick up a 150-pound sled and drag that 50 feet. Then they'll want you to navigate through some staggered obstacles. And then, of course, they'll want you to do a sprint down 444 yards. After that, you'll do a low crawl, and then of course at some point, negotiating more obstacles, you'll run to the firearm, you'll pick up an empty firearm, and you'll dry fire that firearm. Again, check with the agency you're applying to. Start training and get ready to crush it. Train hard, stay focused, and for the love of God, get your diet right. Oh yeah, one other way you can strengthen the dexterity of your hands is to hit that like and subscribe button. You just bam, and all of a sudden you get really, really strong there. Now I need you to listen up here because this part is extremely crucial. Most people will fail because of the background check, and a big piece of that puzzle is the background packet. Now this packet is no joke. It's super detailed and covers every aspect of your life. Let's break it down. They're gonna ask you about every job you've ever held. Yep, every single one. From that summer gig flipping burgers to your current job. Now, I need you to be honest and thorough because leaving out details can come back to bite you. Next, they're going to dig into every crime you've ever committed, whether you've been caught or not. And I mean every crime. Did you sneak a candy bar when you were 10? They're going to want to know that. Now, be upfront and honest about it because honesty is crucial here. Now, let's talk about drugs. They'll ask you about every drug you've ever taken, when, where, and how many times. Now, this might feel like a trip down memory lane that you'd rather not take, but again, honesty is key. They're going to use this packet and this information during your polygraph test or your voice stress analysis. If you're lying, those tests will sniff it out. And trust me, you don't want that. We'll talk more about the polygraph test later. Here's a pro tip. Agencies know that there are no perfect humans. Well, maybe one. They understand that minor stuff happens. Unless you've been involved in serious criminal activities, most of the minor stuff can be forgiven, especially if enough time has passed. But here's the deal. Don't run the risk of getting caught in a lie. If they find out you're lying, you're done. No second chances. So be honest, be thorough, and don't sweat the small stuff. Now let's talk about one of the most intense parts of the police officer application process, the background check. This is where they dig deep into your past and make sure you're the right fit for the job. They're going to use your background packet to assist with this process. It's thorough, it's detailed, and it's super important to pass. Here's what you need to know. First up, they'll dive into your criminal and civil records. They'll look at everything from minor infractions to major infractions. If you got a speeding ticket from 5 years ago, they're gonna know about it. So make sure you're upfront and honest about past issues, again, because honesty is the key. Next, they're going to check your IRS and credit records. Now, financial responsibility is a big deal. They want to see that you can manage your money well and you don't have any major debts or unresolved issues with the IRS. You have to understand that the job of a police officer comes with a lot of temptations. If someone is in major debt, they may be more susceptible to temptation. Your driver's license history is also on the table. This includes any accidents, tickets, or suspensions you had. Now, safe driving is crucial for law enforcement, so they're going to be looking for a clean and responsible record. If you've had a lot of tickets when you were younger, let some time pass. It'll be okay. Just give it a few years. They'll also contact your current and previous employers. Now, this helps them understand your work ethic, reliability, and how you've handled responsibilities in the past. Let's talk about current and previous landlords. They're going to be next. They want to see that you've been a responsible tenant. Did you pay your rent on time? Did you keep your property in good condition? These details matter. Here's what really matters. Your current and previous neighbors will be contacted too. This might be surprising, but it gives them insight into your behavior and your character from those who've lived close to you. If your Friday night bonfires turn into regular domestics, they're gonna find out. Lastly, they'll reach out to your personal references. Choose people who know you well and can speak positively about your character, integrity, and your readiness for a career in law enforcement. This background investigation is thorough and probably the portion that takes the longest to complete because they want to make sure you're the best candidate for the job. Be honest, be prepared, and make sure everything's in order. Now let's talk about that nerve-wracking polygraph test and the voice stress analysis. These tests are designed to make sure you're telling the truth in your background packet, but don't freak out, just remember to be honest. The polygraph test or lie detector measures your physiological responses to questions. Think heart rate, blood pressure, sweating. Now, the voice stress analysis, on the other hand, picks up on changes in your voice that indicate stress or deception. Now, here's the deal. I know that these tests can feel extremely intimidating, but they're all about honesty. Again, I've said this before, agencies know that nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. What they're looking for is integrity and trustworthiness. If you've been upfront about your past, even the not so great parts, you've got nothing to worry about. Now, lying, on the other hand, that's no bueno. If you get caught in a lie, it's game over. But if you're honest, even about the mistakes, it shows you've got character that they're looking for. So when it's time to take the polygraph or the voice stress analysis, take a deep breath, stay calm, and tell the truth. Okay, this one is intimidating, the psychological evaluation. This is where they make sure you've got the mental resilience and the stability needed for the job. First, you might face a long personality test, like really long. I'm talking upwards of 1,000 questions. It's designed to get a deep understanding about your personality, your behavior, and your thought processes. Now, don't rush through it. Take your time, and again, answer honestly. Now, after you take that marathon of a test, you're going to sit down for an interview with the psychologist. It's a little intimidating, I get it. They're going to go over the results of the test, and they're going to ask you questions based off of them. This is to ensure that you're mentally prepared for the challenges of law enforcement. Remember, agencies know that nobody's perfect. They're not looking for robots. They're just looking for people who can handle stress, make sound decisions, and show empathy. Just be yourself and be honest. And when I say answer honestly, I mean it. They're going to ask you the same question multiple times, worded differently, and you won't even realize it's the same question. If you're trying to beat the written psychological evaluation, they're going to know it. Let's talk about that final hurdle, the medical exam. This is where they're going to check if you're physically fit to do the job. Now, the medical exam includes a bunch of different tests. You're going to go through an EKG to check your heart. You'll do some vision screening, maybe some hearing. They got to make sure you got sharp eyes. They're going to do a drug test to ensure you're clean, and you're going to look for a full bill of health, if you will. Just make sure you're in good health and ready to go. So let's talk about the final interview. In small to mid-sized departments, this is usually done with the chief of police. In larger agencies, you might face some members of command staff. This is your last chance to impress, so bring your A game. Follow the same advice I gave in my oral board interview video. Check the link in the description below for all the tips. Stay confident, be honest, and show them you've got what it takes and you are the best candidate for the job. So if you're successful and you get the job, one of the skills that you're going to use the most, almost every single day, is talking to people, especially when interviewing victims, witnesses, and suspects. That's why I wrote the book, Extracting the Truth. It's a book that will skyrocket your skills above everyone else's. If you're serious about being an amazing cop or future investigator, you've got to grab this book. It's available now on Amazon, and trust me, it's a very inexpensive investment for your future. Read it now, and then again after you graduate the academy or you finish FTO, because everything will click after that. Check out the link in the description below. As you can see, there's a lot of steps involved in landing a job in law enforcement, and this process can take up to 6 months to complete. But when you finally get the job, remember, it's one of the hardest jobs to get and one of the easiest jobs to lose. So don't screw it up. Stay sharp, stay honest, treat people with respect, and give it all you've got every single day. Oh yeah, one last bit of advice. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. What are you waiting for?